What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to go to the great state of North Carolina. We're going to take a look at this race, the Senate race, and you have Roy Cooper. Pretty much, there's still a primary, but it looks like it's going to be Roy Cooper and Whatley. And so I want to show you some of the latest polling coming out of North Carolina. Then we'll take a look at the Senate map to see why North Carolina is crucial for Democrats to win. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have a political science degree. I've worked in political campaigns for over 15 years. And on this channel, we're going to be focusing on the 2026 midterm election, and we're going to be looking at the issues that will impact this election. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, please like the video and please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, let's go ahead. And the first thing I want to do, I always like to look at where we are right now. So when we're looking at our current Senate map, this is what it looks like. We have Democrats at 47, Republicans at 53. In order for Democrats to take back control of the Senate, first off, it's going to be very hard, but in order for them to do that, they need to net 4 seats. So they need to keep all the seats that they have now and win an additional 4 seats. And so that's going to be very hard. We need to see Democrats at 51 and Republicans at 49 in order for Democrats to take back control of the Senate. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the latest polling coming out of North Carolina, because North Carolina is a crucial seat for Democrats. They need to win. And so we're taking a look at Real Clear Politics here. So let's look at the average first, and then we'll work our way down. So the average right here is showing us a spread of plus 8.6. That's for Cooper, okay? If we're looking at Whatley, and this is the average. This is a polling average. So Whatley has 38%. Cooper has 46.6%. Now, if we look at some of the individual pollsters, we're looking at this Carolina Forward. This was conducted between January 5th and January 7th. You have 1,105 likely voters. I like that they're using likely voters here. We have a 3.5% margin of error there. You have Cooper at 47. You have Whatley at 42. So that's outside the margin of error. So the spread there is Cooper plus 5. Looking at the TIPP poll, this was conducted between January 12th and January 15th. You have 1,512 registered voters. Margin of error there is 2.7. And we have Cooper at 48. We have Whatley at 24. And look at this, Cooper at plus 24. And so this is probably an outlier. I mean, plus 24. I don't think we're going to see anything like that in the election, but nonetheless, that's what they're showing there. And then you also see this doesn't even come close to 100%. And so you probably had a lot of undecideds on there, people that there was another candidate that was on there that they're just not showing us. And so let's look at one more here, the Carolina Journal. This was conducted between November 9th and November 10th. You have 600 likely voters. Margin of error is 4%. And we have Cooper at 47. And you have Whatley at 39. The spread there was plus 8. And so you see Roy Cooper, when it comes to the polling, it's showing that he is ahead. Now I want to take a look at the Senate map, and I want to talk a little bit about why North Carolina is a must-win for Democrats. So as we stated, this is what the current map looks like. Democrats and independents at 47, Republicans at 53. If the map stays the same, Republicans will maintain control of the Senate. But we do have some seats here that I think will flip. And one seat that I think will flip is Maine. I think Susan Collins is going to have a real hard time winning. And polling right now is showing her down. I was looking at the betting lines when it comes to Maine, because you can pretty much bet on anything nowadays. But it was showing that Susan Collins was behind. You have 2 Democrats that are running in a primary against each other, but one of them will be running against her. And both of them are doing better than her in most of the polling. I think Mills was tied with her in one of the polls, and then Plattner was ahead of her in pretty much all the polls, the latest polls that I've seen. So when it comes to Susan Collins, she's going to struggle. She is an incumbent. She should have that incumbent advantage, but it doesn't look like that's going to work for her in this election. And so I think Democrats will be able to win in Maine. And then also look at Harris's numbers in 2024. She actually won Maine over Trump. And so now let's look at North Carolina. Now, I think just looking at the latest polling, if the election were held today, I think Roy Cooper would win. And so let's say that goes blue. So now we'd be looking at Democrats at 49, Republicans at 51. Now remember, I said Democrats need to net 4 seats. Well, if they net 2 seats, North Carolina and Maine, they still need to win 2 more seats. And so where are they going to win these 2 more seats? Well, if we move down to Alaska, I think Peltola has a really good chance of winning. And the latest polling just came out with her, and she was leading in that polling. And so let's say Democrats win Alaska. So now we're at 50-50. However, 50-50, tie goes to the vice president. The vice president's a Republican, so that means Republicans would maintain control of the Senate. And so Democrats would need to win 1 more state. And that 1 more state that I'm thinking right now, the easiest state, when we're looking at this board right now, the easiest state for Democrats to win would probably be Ohio. And so if Democrats win Ohio, now Democrats have 51, Republicans are at 49. And so if Sherrod Brown is able to pull it off in Ohio, and we see Peltola win in Alaska, and you see Moore win in North Carolina, and maybe a Plattner or a Mills win in Maine, and then Democrats, if they're able to hold Michigan and hold Georgia, then we're looking at Democrats taking back control of the Senate. And just looking at the job approval, the presidential job approval right now, it's not looking good for the president. And remember, this midterm election is going to be a referendum on the president. So if the president is not doing well, we're going to see that down ballot. We're going to see some of these other Republican congresspeople get hurt as a result of that, and they could lose their seats. And we're talking about the House, and we're talking about the Senate. In the House, Democrats have an advantage. Right now, the generic ballot is showing that Democrats are about, 4.7 if you're looking at Real Clear Politics. I've seen some other generic ballots that are a little bit higher than that. But all of them are pointing to the House being controlled by Democrats, Democrats being able to get the 3 seats. All Democrats need to net 3 seats in the House. So if they do that, then they take back control of the House. If we see some type of wave, which could potentially happen in the House, then that we'll definitely see some movement in the Senate. Now, as I stated at the beginning of this video, for Democrats to win the Senate, that's a huge hurdle, but it is not impossible, and there's a pathway. And when we're looking at some of these states, like Alaska, like North Carolina, like Maine, these are possible pickups for the Democrats. And they know this, and that's why they're starting to focus their attention there. And that's why they wanted to get good candidates running in all of those different states. And so the possibility is there for Democrats. Will they be able to capitalize on it? We'll have to see. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Roy Cooper will be able to win in North Carolina? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.